of rotation with that from our storm chaser, Jesse Hayes, who is in that area, but it's moving towards the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a track on this, and I am concerned for the community of Dover there in central Polk County.
Here, this is looking west from Russellville on I-40.
All right,
this is a good 7 to 10 miles away. Take the Storyteller there. At the top right of your screen, right next to the iDrive Arkansas logo, you can really see there's something quickly moving right there. It is a lowering, and it's moving rapidly off to the right there, and it'll be out of the view of this camera here in just a moment. But it's just underneath the logo there, and guys, that's moving pretty quickly off to the right there. And we're so far away, there's no way to tell if there's anything on the ground from that. But, I mean, this is looking just off to the west there, and that's a pretty impressive storm that we have going across I-40 right now.
Here's the estimated time of arrival of that rotation. That, again, this is Doppler radar indicated, this tornado. Hicktown about 5:09, Augsburg about 5:15, Hector 5:41, Lost Corner about 5:57, and it may even get towards the Dover area here too before too long. I want you to take your tornado precautions. One other thing, Barry, the signatures are very strong for large hail with this. I think that we could be looking at least golf ball size hail within this thunderstorm too.
That hail core has really grown and intensified, a sign that the storm itself is beginning to get more height on it. And so on the storm scan right now, you'll see that really classic look with the hook echo there. The wind field inside of it is a little bit broad, but there's a lot of wind coming or going away from the radar site, and there the latest scan just came in, and certainly the winds going away from the Fort Smith radar site there are stronger than they were. Now I'm going to look at this exact storm, I'll give you some perspective. When we're back out here, there's Russellville off to the east. This storm will go north of you, Russellville, for sure. We'll keep an eye on other storms around there. This is the storm as we're looking from the Little Rock area. So the colors are reversed there. The wind's coming toward the radar site and going away from. It's a rather broad rotation, but it wouldn't shock me at all to see a funnel and perhaps a tornado be produced within that. Here's what it looks like, and that tail, obviously a circulation center there. Up to the north, that's the big hail that Todd talked about on the Johnson and Pope County line. That hail core looks like will move over the Highway 7 corridor north of Dover, but the storm itself is going to move very close. And there's the next radar update. I'm going to go back to the wind field inside of that. And there's a lot of wind coming toward the radar site there. Go back to the Fort Smith radar, and that's where those greens and reds come together. That's the rotation area. Is it producing a tornado? We don't know for sure, but that's why we just say there's a tornado warning there. Get in the lowest spot in your house, the most interior part, away from exterior walls and windows. And if you have a storm cellar right along that path, and we're showing you exactly where that rotation should be, it's time to get into that safe place, James.
Yeah, we are watching it. It's just moved over I-40, so I-40 kind of now beyond the threat area. But this is right at Knoxville. That's State Highway 359 that runs north-south there. We're taking a very close-up view here. Mount Carmel Road west of State Highway 333 is just to the east of this. The wind being pulled into the storm. It's about as classic a supercell look as you will have. And it's going to move continually off to the northeast and east-northeast over the next 20 minutes or so. Knoxville is the area that we're talking about right now. This is not going to impact the Russellville area, even though this is going to include part of Pope County. If you're in this vicinity, you want to take tornado precautions immediately. We have no indication that tornadoes on the ground right now, but with this kind of situation, the time of day, the parameters that we have in place, it would surprise me if this storm did not go on to produce a tornado at some point. Down the road just a bit, we have Dover. If you were in the Dover area, you're going to want to make sure you get to your tornado safe place immediately, and especially off towards the north of Dover. State Highway 164 along State Highway 333. This storm, which was just a little bitty shower west of Mena, about an hour and a half ago, was tornado warned then, is now a full-grown, mature thunderstorm and continues to look very impressive from the Little Rock radar site. There's quite a bit of wind shear. And guys, it would surprise me if this didn't produce at some point, even though we may not have something right now. We want everyone to know that this is a storm you have to take seriously going through the next few minutes.
All right, James, I also want to show you the hail that is possible with this. I'm going to look at near Mount Carmel Road. This lags behind, but the large hail, at least quarter-size hail with this. But let me go back to also the velocity with this, with the potential tornado. And very messy. I think what I'm getting here is data from the Fort Smith radar. So there's from the Little Rock radar, which shows it a little bit better here. There's London, Highway 333. There's Dover. It looks like it's going to pass just to the north and west of Dover, but very close call. I want you to stay in your tornado-safe place. So there's the possible rotation moving off towards the northeast. The computer models that we have been analyzing all day long have picked up on this particular storm as the storm to watch. And this threat for tornadoes will continue for the next several hours. Here we are at 5:11, tornado watch for much of central and northern Arkansas until 8 o'clock. So we're not anticipating a very long night ahead covering tornadoes, and we hope that's the case, but there's going to be that threat, and this is the area of the state right here, Mount Carmel Road. We had the possible rotation going over Highway 333 where it goes up towards the north and bends back towards the east. We know there are communities out there, of course. It's not very populated, but if you know somebody there or if you're watching us, we want you to go to the interior of your home or your business, put as many walls between you and the outside, and stay away from windows. Just by the radar presentation, from what I see, Barry, I don't think this, if there is a tornado, I don't think it's a very large tornado. Just by the radar presentation, sometimes it's a little tricky because we're so far away, but there could definitely be one, and it doesn't take a strong tornado to cause damage.
No, even a weak one or a brief one, if it's in an area that is populated, it can be devastating. And let's go to storm scan if we can. I want to show you the hail core within this. This is the probability of severe hail product, and it says that the hail size is definitely over an inch there, but you can see the core, and it will be moving off to the northeast. So that would put it just to the north of Dover. But Dover, you could get some hail out of this. That is not our primary concern, although hail is certainly could be damaging. Our primary concern is the wind field within this. We're looking from Little Rock right here. A rather broad rotation, but certainly there is wind. And we're looking at a height from Little Rock here of almost 6,000 feet. So that's not down at surface level. But this is what it looks like reflectivity-wise. And obviously, there's a circulation center. And if you were looking at it, you would look right in that area where the dry air is being pulled around, and then the rain is being pulled around on the south side of that. The hail core, I just showed you, it's up to the north. Very, very strong radar returns right there. Let me give you a little more perspective. This is going north of you, Russellville. Look at the storms down in western Perry County, out into Yell County. And those storms, too, I don't think in quite as good of an environment as the one up to the north, but they are growing. And even the storm down to the southeast of Russellville is starting to grow some. That's the one, though, that we're looking at. And if you just broaden your view, that one is by far the one that is most concerning. And it's great technology when you can look at the wind field inside. And that's exactly what we're doing. That's Little Rock radar. This is Fort Smith radar, so we can look at it from the backside, and certainly there is a circulation center there. There's not much in between that Fort Smith radar and this storm, so this is probably our best look at it, and it's looking at 4,400 feet up, so it's looking at a little lower level. We want to see the lowest level we can to see if there's low-level rotation with that. That is an area of concern as it approaches the Highway 7 corridor. Todd said it best only a few minutes ago, James. He said that the simulated, or the models, the high-resolution models showed when that storm, and it showed a track of what we call helicity, or spin in the atmosphere, and that's exactly where it showed several hours ago that there could be the best spin with height in the atmosphere, and that's where that storm is headed right now. It wouldn't surprise me to see it intensify at least some as it heads toward northern Polk County.
Really, it's prime time for these kind of storms the next 2 hours. And so as this moves off to the northeast, we're really going to have to watch it. Unfortunately, that same data showed other storms developing as well. Here's the storm track for the Pope County supercell. It's just crossed over the Johnson-Pope County line. It's north of I-40, north of Russellville, and it'll be approaching Hector at 5:39 p.m. It's moving at about 40 miles per hour. And if this supercell holds together, and we have no indication that this is just going to fall apart. So if you're in Searcy County, Allrad, 6:08, that's the arrival time. It's almost an hour away. Start making plans to get into a tornado-safe place all throughout northern Pope County and then into the western part of Van Buren County. This is one of those days where you can get a supercell like this, and it can go for a long time before it runs into something that's going to make it diminish. We're watching this area really in the vicinity of the Highway 33 corridor. It's the east-west moving highway there, and Dover. Dover is right there, and there's State Highway 164. As we look kind of at the next track of rotation, it continues to look even a little bit more impressive from our vantage point here at the Little Rock radar. It would really, really surprise me if we don't get a tornado from this at some point. It just doesn't get any more classic than this. This is early March in Arkansas. Sometimes we're going to deal with this. It looks like this is going to track just to the north of Dover. And there is, at least in this part of Pope County, some fields, a lot of agriculture, and that may allow for some of you to be able to see this unobstructed from trees and mountains like it would be in northern Pope County. So we want everyone to go to a tornado-safe place, especially if you're anywhere west or north of Dover, the most dangerous part of the storm. It's not where those dark purple and black colors come together there. It's going to be on the south side of the storm. This is where the tornado is going to be, right there on that south side of the storm, where the warm, humid air is getting wrapped in. And right now that's happening right at State Highway 333 as this moves off to the east-northeast. Todd, we continue to get better rotation scans, and the storm has only become better organized since it started developing 2 hours ago, and unfortunately that's going to continue here in the short term.
Everybody, this is very important information that you need to know. Even if you're not in this area affected right now, NOAA weather radios are not working right now. They're working, but they're not able to send warnings. Warnings are not going out on NOAA weather radio. This is why we always say you need two ways to get warnings. So I want everybody to know, if you rely on NOAA weather radio, they are very reliable, but there are hiccups sometimes in any warning system, any of them. Make sure you have a way to get warnings. So NOAA weather radio, the last time we were told, we were saying that warnings are not going out on weather radio. That comes from a National Weather Service meteorologist. They are working on that issue. You can download for free the KATV weather app because those notifications are up and running right now. There's the rotation, as Barry and James has been telling you. There's 164, and I'm going to go into this area that I think that this is going to cross over and look at some of these roads if there are any there that we can get out in front of. This is moving now at about 40 miles per hour, but you see we're 164 and 7 where that split. I think it's going to go very close to that in Pope County, very close to where this forks off into 7 and then 164. I think that's where we're going to see the rotation pass very close to. Right now, I don't think we have any power outages in that area. I haven't looked, which would mean we don't have anything that has at least hit any transmission lines or power lines or transformers, but that doesn't mean there isn't a tornado. There could be one, and I think it's going to pass near or just north of Dover. So north of Dover, you still need to take your tornado precautions, but I think you can have a breath of at least. I think that this is going to go a little bit further away from you, so stay away from that particular area of Pope County. But this is 333, moving towards the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. There are other storms in the state that we need to keep an eye on. That one is definitely the one that's causing the problems. It's a classic supercell, but we have other areas of showers, and at times they show some rotation, but by far, this is the one that's moving through Pope County right into the fringe of our viewing area, and we're going to stay on the air for you as it goes into northern Pope County, but these are moving very quickly, and we do not expect the threat to last all that long this evening, probably up until 7 or 8 o'clock in our viewing area. The threat for tornadoes will diminish, but we won't be over and done with the threat for severe thunderstorms, because I think we're going to have a line of thunderstorms coming through later on tonight that may wake you up. But by far, just looking around the radar, even here in the Little Rock Metro, there's no immediate threat right now in the Little Rock Metro area. There are tornado warnings in northeastern Arkansas. Just wanted to zoom out just a little bit, but this Barry is just a classic supercell signature with very large hail west of Highway 7 in Pope County. Very large hail in this black area, and look how it's hooked. Just a classic looking supercell right there that's going to pass near Dover. So I don't think you're going to get a direct hit from this, but stay in shelter. Barry?
Yeah, Todd, exactly. This is still a warned storm, and I don't think the hail core is quite as pronounced, so maybe the size of the hail is coming down just a little bit. But let's take just a minute to talk about, as we look at StormScan and kind of give you a whole look over the whole region there. Chime in is at KATV.com, and if you have anything that you've seen, don't put yourself in harm's way, but if you have images or videos that you want to send to us, Chime in is the way to get them to us at KATV.com, and it's very easy to upload those products to us. All right, this is the Little Rock radar here, and I'm going to zoom back out because we're getting a little closer. That classic hook, obviously a rotation center there. Some of the other storms down to the south, western Perry County, we're watching those. Danville, shower headed toward you, probably some lightning and thunder in that as well. I haven't looked just recently, but it's beginning to grow, but it doesn't look anything like this one storm. And I'm talking about one storm that really looks impressive over all the others. These are smaller storms. You see some little bit of a hook feature to them, but it's rain and perhaps a small thunderstorm. But the one that we're looking at is going north of Dover. It's a largely rural area there, and that's great news, but that doesn't mean that there aren't homes along Highway 7, because there are. A beautiful stretch of highway in Pope County, and there is the rotation that we're seeing right now. That is the broad rotation, but in the center of that, that's where you would have the rotation that could be strong enough to translate all that spin, which is broad up above, down to a tighter pattern and produce a tornado. And that would be the area just going north of Highway 7, moving about 35 miles per hour, not terribly fast. But we will watch these other storms as well, the one coming up on Havana. And I think every scan that goes by, we're seeing a little wind feature with those, none that look terribly impressive yet. But that doesn't mean that this environment isn't primed for development. And so we're going to continue to watch that very, very closely. Back into central Arkansas, you can see nothing happening right now. Really, our focus, I believe, will be up to the north. We'll watch that storm out to the southeast of Mena. But the area that has been really, by the Storm Prediction Center, really featured is northern Arkansas. That's that enhanced risk of severe weather. And we're going to have to be with this for a little while. As Todd mentioned, though, this isn't going to last until 11 or 12 o'clock tonight. There will be other storms coming through along the main system, but the tornado threat is with this warm surge of air here and a boundary up to the north, and this storm is riding it. It's intersecting. There's the new update right there as it gets closer and closer to Highway 7, and the rotation is still in that very small area. Wouldn't shock me if there was a small tornado or perhaps just a funnel cloud being produced from that. And again, if you have any pictures or video that you can safely send to us, if you're down in the Dover area looking off to the north, you can send it to us via chimein at KATV.com. We'll be looking for that. And we have some other videos and pictures coming in right now. James, what do you have?
Barry, who sent you this picture? I didn't get a name, but this was from London, right along I-40. And
this is J.A. Melton.
J.A. Melton. Okay, so
yes.
This is the lowering underneath the bottom of that supercell. This is what it looks like. This is a classic wall cloud, and there at the bottom, no way to tell if something was on the ground at that point. I'm going to assume that nothing was on the ground, because this is kind of how we've seen this storm behave over the last hour. It'll try to get its act together. It'll put down a nice looking wall cloud, maybe a funnel cloud, but then not a tornado. That can change. It can change very quickly. Earlier, this was from Jesse Hayes at Subiaco as the storm was moving through Logan County. And again, there's a big lowering right there as well, not really rotating in this video. It's a video, you can't really tell because the cloud not really rotating in that video. As we go back, there is the storm as it moved over I-40. Now it's getting over into Pope County. And on the last velocity scan, I'd say there's a really good chance that something is happening here from the Little Rock radar. As you see, pixel to pixel, really bright green, really bright red. That could be a small tornado that is going right there as it approaches Highway 164 in northern Pope County. I think that's what that could be right there. And this is, again, this is north of Dover. And it is staying north of Dover, but it's moving off to the northeast here pretty soon. We're going to get a new tornado warning, and we see no reason that this is not going to hold together in the short term. As we look at our debris detector here, I don't see any reason why it's not seeing a tornado on the ground, but certainly there could be something there. This is as classic as it gets. There's your supercell. I think at some point it's going to become difficult to look into this as it's about to go into parts of the Ozark National Forest. So we've gotten several pictures of it, but this is moving into an area of some rougher terrain there as it goes towards northern Pope County. I think Hector's going to be okay out of this one as well. I think it's going to go towards the north, but you don't want to be anywhere near the southern end of that storm. Looks like it's going to just barely go north of Hector. Todd?
Yeah, I'm in contact right now with colleague of ours, James Adelot. He's a friend of ours up in Tulsa, and he thinks that this is lofting debris there at the coincidence with the real rotation and the reflectivity that's greater than 30 DVZs, just to let you guys know. So he's growing concerned that this is actually putting out a tornado now, and it's north of Dover if it's doing so, but it's crossing over Highway 7 here very soon. But this is from the Little Rock radar right now. The one from Fort Smith looks a little bit hard to read right now, but he thinks that there's something going on there, and it's starting to loft debris, and that is very possible as it moves north of Dover. So Dover, I think you're in the clear with this one particular storm, but this is continuing to move off towards the northeast, and I'm just trying to get some of the newest information talking to him and from the National Weather Service as well. This tornado warning, if I'm not mistaken, continues until 5:45, and the next area would be Clinton and areas towards the north up towards Leslie. So if this were to hold together, so if you're watching us from Clinton on up towards Leslie on 65, if you live anywhere near there, this could stay on the ground. If it's on the ground now, this could stay intact for quite a while. And now they're saying, yes, confirmed. Do you see that polygon just changed?
The purple polygon.
They're saying it's an observed tornado.
Radar confirmed.
Yep.
14.
No.
Russellville moving northeast at 35.
I think it's observed. I think somebody saw a tornado.
Confirmed, yes.
Yeah, it is confirmed.
Observed,
so
right.
He's absolutely right, what James was just telling me. So there is a confirmed tornado now with this. So I would expect that issuance of a new tornado warning very soon for the rest of Pope County on up towards the north, and that will include the far northwestern areas of Van Buren County. Barry?
Okay, yeah, we're looking at this. Yes, it is. It's now moving at 40, and a trained storm spotter did confirm that there was something. Todd, I just sent you a video as well from this storm from J.A. Melton as well, and I just sent it to you. So.
Here,
Okay,
Barry,
you got it as well.
it's coming up here right now.
Okay.
This is the same picture that we just saw, but I'm guessing it's some video. It's getting loaded up right now. That's the still image that we're looking at right there. I think it's very possible that we do have a tornado on the ground. Okay, we're going to switch this over to the video. And, yeah, he's got what looks to be, and we've probably lost some quality in transferring it over here, but
It's a little bit hard to see. There are some spots there. I briefly looked at it, and
you could see. I mean, there's some stuff moving around in there. I wouldn't.
Yeah, the motion. If you look at it, especially if you speed it up, it does look like there was a lot of movement in the clouds there, and obviously a lowering of the cloud base. And so that is the storm. That's looking at it from the south, looking up to the kind of the northwest at that time. But that's the storm that we're looking at there. So
I just saw a video. I just saw a picture of the tornado. It's definitely on the ground.
Okay.
I've got a picture of it. I'm working on getting on the air, but it is on the ground.
Let's go back to storm scan then if we can, and I'll show you this tremendous hook feature here. This is just the storm wrapping around rain, and it's even pulling some of that hail, it looks like, and intense rainfall around the circulation center there. So this is an indication that in that hook, there's just a tremendous amount of rotation. And when it's that kind of rotation up above, then it can extend that down to the ground over a much smaller area. And through the physics of that storm, that gets a lot faster as it begins to move on down to the ground over a much smaller area. So this is where it is. It's north of you, Dover. It's going north of Scottsville. Hector, get in your safe place. It looks like the rotation may pass just north of you. And I know it's a largely rural area, but it is not a completely uninhabited area. So that's what we're watching this storm very closely. This is from the Little Rock radar here, from the Fort Smith radar. Yeah, you can see that swirl right there. I think the Little Rock radar is probably now our best bet. And this is the probability of severe hail. Look at the hail core on that. Looks like 1 2/3 now, the max hail size along with this storm. So it's a large storm, and you can sometimes look for debris in there, a dropout of, I don't know that we see it clearly, but there could be some debris being lofted by that storm as well. Again, the base reflectivity, though, I would always issue a tornado warning, even if the wind field wasn't ideal, but that is certainly that classic hook signature as it moves off to the northeast. As we broaden out, I don't want to lose perspective here. Clinton, you're in the next county over, Van Buren County. This would be moving in an area that would go probably north of you there, but there are lots of other communities like, north of Scotland, but there are other communities straight out to the west of Clinton there in the hills, in the high terrain of western Van Buren County that are going to have to be watching for this storm. This is the one that's out by itself. The others, not impressive. The one that's on you, Danville, rain, yes. Lightning and thunder, yes. It's just not nearly as impressive as this other storm. So we're not going to lose sight of it. We hope that this is the only supercell. And I think it's at least possible, but it's not for sure. And so we're going to continue to watch this storm. And most of the activity will be north of Little Rock Metro, north of Conway, north of Benton and Bryant. This is the wind field inside of it, greens and reds, the bright reds and greens there. And we're looking at a height of about 5,500 feet there. So this is not looking at the lowest levels of the atmosphere, but we're pretty close to it. And so here's the severe hail core. This is just the reflectivity. What the beam goes out, it hits raindrops. The more raindrops it hits, the bigger the return back to the radar site. And that's why you see all the raindrops and the hailstones, especially where the purples and the dark, the black indicated there is just that very, very intense radar return coming back. Now moving right across the Highway 7 corridor as it goes north of Scottsville and Hector. Todd, do you have that photo?
No, I'm still working on it.
Okay, that's fine.
They just issued, I'm still working to confirm if we can get that, but there is a new tornado warning that has just been issued, as you see here.
Multiple trees down and a door on the Martin Township Fire Department. Martin Township, that's Pope County. The door was blown off there.
Okay, and that's the confirmed tornado. I've got a picture of it. Ben Williams on Twitter right now, I'm confirming that that's the one in Polk County, because there's another tornado warning storm in northeast Arkansas, but I'm almost 100% positive that's the one. It doesn't matter.
Of the supercell earlier, that's the storm he's on.
Okay, and we know it's on the ground, folks. It's confirmed on the ground doing damage. I'm going to zoom into the area that this is our first tornado in Arkansas of 2022. It's going to be crossing over Highway 27, and this is a large tornado. So it's crossing over 7 right now. It'll be crossing over 27 just to the north of Hector. I've also got our storm chaser, Jesse Hayes, who's working on this storm too, but it's moving towards the northeast very rapidly at about 35 to 40 miles per hour, so there's not much time to react with this if you're in the path of this, but this is dangerous. It's on the ground. It's causing damage as we speak. Clinton, you are not in the tornado warned path right now. And if it stays on its current path, it will go north of you. However, sometimes these can deviate a little bit towards the right. So there's always that outside chance it can do that. But on its current path, it's going to miss you just towards the north and go across 65. But I don't think you should let down your guard just yet. But there's definitely a tornado on the ground causing damage in that area. One other place I want to draw your attention to, I noticed just a little while ago, there was some rotation. It does not appear to be there anymore. It was in Logan County. I've been keeping an eye on radar in other portions of the state. Well, there is still just a little bit. Yeah, I see it right now. It's still there. It's coming into Yell County and could be heading towards Russellville. No tornado warning on this right now. It's very weak rotation, but I want you to know we're watching that for Russellville towards Delaware. It's in that same corridor, kind of like a track here, like a boundaries in here where that could track. But right now, of primary importance and our primary concern, saving lives and property up there in northern areas of Hope County, going into Van Buren County. Take your tornado precautions now. You need to go to the interior of your home and make sure you put as many walls between you and the outside. Turn your television set up. If you charge electronic devices, We're streaming at KATV.com, also on our app, and you can watch our live stream there. You can turn your television set up, but you need to head indoors. That's our primary concern right now, making sure you are safe. This, in our viewing area right now, this is the storm, and the only storm that we're highly concerned about right now. I don't have any new information, Barry, but I just got a confirmation. Yes, that we're working to get Ben's picture here of that tornado, but it was definitely the one taken from Dover, and Ben said it was when it was near Knoxville is when.
Okay. That was when it started to strengthen some, so that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Right.
We're getting some reports of damage in Martin Township in Pope County. I'm not familiar, but it would be along the path of where we showed you the rotation with that storm. So Martin Township, tornado video was posted, some social media, and I think that's probably what we're talking about. And unconfirmed people trapped in a house, but that's emergency management in Pope County. Unconfirmed on that, and or any injuries unknown at that time. All right, let's go to storm scan as we're talking about this, and you'll see the rotation that's being seen right there as it moves north of Hector, and it will continue to move between Hector and Smyrna as it moves over toward the western part of Van Buren County. This tornado tornado warning is going to be in effect till 6:15. It's not moving terribly rapidly. Sometimes this time of year you can get storms moving at 55 or 60 or 65 or even 70 miles per hour. This is not one of those. It's moving at 40 to 45 miles per hour. So it is moving fairly quickly. If you're going to be taking shelter from it, and you need to be, if you're right there where I'm showing the reds and the greens come together, Hector northward, you need to get into your safe spot, as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can. And you're not going to be there for very long if you're in that sheltered area. And the tornadoes that we get in Arkansas, a lot of them, we always say, a lot of them are survivable. You get into that middle part of your house, into a small room with no exterior walls and windows, and you can survive the vast majority of tornadoes in this state. We're continuing to watch the hook echo there. It is unmistakable as the storm with height, the winds turn from different angles, and you have shear in the atmosphere, and that's what creates that spinning in the atmosphere. And so that's what we're looking at now. Probability of severe hail still very high. That is a hail core with now approaching 2-inch in diameter hail, I would think, out in the middle of that. And so...
Storyteller right now, we have the picture.
Okay, let's go over that. And
yeah, that's from Ben Williams, who's been following the storm for a while, and I don't know what section of Pope County this is in, but that is definitely one of them there, and he's in a part of Pope County where he still has pretty good line of sight, but right now it's beginning to cross into parts of the Ozark National Forest there in northern Pope County. As we take a look at Max 1, we have this supercell which continues to move off towards the northeast. It's going to be approaching the Van Buren County line here very soon. And as we go in for a closer look, those of you that are in Clinton, as we've been saying, we think you're going to be okay unless this makes just a hard turn to the right. But down the road for the northwestern part of Van Buren County, please head to your tornado safe spot. There's a couple of things. I think we've seen, at least in the last couple of minutes, the rotation weaken just a little bit. There could still be a tornado in here, especially on this front end right here. Todd, do you have something?
Yeah. I've got video now of the tornado. This is remarkable video. It's on Chime In. If you want to pull that up, I'm going to try to get that in. But it is to say it's incredible video from Rocky Jones.
Yeah, I can. We can pull this up over here.
Yeah, and we want everybody to continue. We're going to get this video. It's southeast of Augsburg, which we warned Augsburg. I'm going to get. If you want to pull it up on Chime In, but he's going to get that. But this is definitely a tornado moments ago as it went through portions of Pope County. It's still there. We can't tell exactly because it's so far away from the radar, but we are going to have to assume it is still on the ground. We have to assume it's still causing damage. And western Van Buren County, please, we beg you to take your tornado precautions, especially along this path right here, right down the center of this polygon. But if you live anywhere in this polygon, please take your tornado precautions right now. but it's right along the center of this, moving into northeastern Polk County and into western areas of Van Buren County. Clinton on 65, do not, if you know anybody or if you're considering traveling north on 65, don't do it right now. Just wait an hour or so before making that decision, because we don't want you to drive into this. Same thing if you're in Marshall heading towards the south. Mountain View, I've got a feeling that this is going to hold together for the next couple of hours at least throughout northern Arkansas. I want you to start thinking about where you would go if a tornado warning was issued for you. It is that much of a serious situation because I think this is going to be long tracked. This is not brief, down, up, over. That's not what we're looking at here. There's something there, and it continues to spin moving up towards the north and the east. James, did you see the video?
Yeah.
He's working on getting that up on
We're going to pull it
Storytel
up
right
on
now.
the KATV website here.
He's going to pull that up right now. Barry, do you have anything else? I don't have any other new information here from the National Weather Service, except just a continuation that this is confirmed over Solo, 24 miles northeast of Russellville, moving northeast now at 45. So this is accelerating.
The reflectivity, the hook, not as pronounced as it was, but still, there is plenty of indication that this is a strong storm, and like you said, it's not going away anytime soon. I've flown out in a helicopter out west of Clinton looking at tornado damage from the Botkenberg tornado years ago, and as the storm was moving through the western part of Van Buren County, a lot of rural area there, a lot of terrain, but there are also areas of like small communities, homes within that area. So if you're in one of those homes out in that northeastern part of Pope County, that northwest or west central part of Van Buren County, just go to your safe spot. Let's take a look at it on StormScan. And it continues to move off to the northeast. These kind of overlapping boxes there, those other tornado warnings are going to be discontinued. But this continues on the one thing that I've noticed, it continues on a very northeasterly pattern. I don't think this has turned to the right very much. And some of these can be what we call right-moving storms, maybe more indicating that they're trying to get into a more conducive environment, and it takes a little bit of a turn to the east, northeast, and so we'll watch that. But for now, it's northeast. James has that video that we talked about.
Yeah,
James.
this is from Rocky Jones, and it's about a minute long. We'll watch all of it. This is near Augsburg. This is in the western part of Pope County. We know that there's still probably a tornado on the ground that's getting close to the northeastern section of Pope County, and this was in western Pope County. There it is, the funnel. Even though it's not all the way in contact with the ground right here, it is definitely swirling on the ground, and here in just a few moments you'll see it come in contact fully with the ground. Again, this is from Rocky Jones. Send it to KATV.com/chime in. Lots of upward motion there in that funnel. You see the wall cloud there. This whole thing is lowering to the ground, and there you see it, making it all the way to the ground. And I think there's a couple of frames in here where it gets completely condensed all the way to the ground. And it's a really visible tornado. Usually in Arkansas, all of our tornadoes get wrapped in rain or difficult to see because of the terrain or time of day. And that is just as classic a tornado from as classic a supercell as you will see. And a great video from Rocky. We appreciate him sending that to us. So if you are in the path of this, please know that if you are in the northeastern section of Pope County, you need to seek shelter immediately. As we go back to radar, I had been saying that we, and the Weather Service as well, it's pretty difficult to diagnose on radar as far as velocity goes, but it still looks as classic as you could possibly ever ask for on reflectivity. There are some showers now developing to the south, and we'll see if that maybe interrupts the warm airflow into the storm. But this is the main storm that we are watching, and it's getting ready to pass into the northern part of Van Buren County. Barry?
I think that's a great point with those showers that are developing just out in advance of it. And I think already we may see some disruption of this storm. The structure, I don't think, looks quite like it did. Not to say to get out of your safe spot. This is a tornado-warned storm. It has, we just saw it, produced a tornado. And there are unconfirmed reports of injury or of some damage. But I think a lot of those might be confirmed now by the Martin Township, I believe it was, in Pope County Fire Department there. This storm continues to move off to the northeast, but look at those showers racing out to the southeast of this storm. Yeah, they're moving up into an area, and they're going to intersect over Van Buren County. They're going to intersect this storm. I'll kind of slow it down for you here, and we'll go frame by frame. Look at the showers from Jerusalem to Scotland. As those move off to the north there, if they intersect that storm, I can't help but think that that cools the atmosphere, and it makes it difficult for this thing to sustain itself long term. There has to be an ending point, and this storm is kind of out by itself, so it had no competition. This is the competition that I think we all hoped would happen, and there it is. And so hopefully we begin to see these showers disrupt the atmosphere, stabilize the atmosphere, and disrupt the structure of this storm. And that could be coming in, but it's not there yet. And in south of Smyrna, hail core Smyrna, south of you, with we're looking at that wind field there, and it's hard to see. The terrain is probably in between here and there. It's about 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere. So we're just going to assume that there's a tornado on the ground right in the middle of this area. Let me back out again. I zoomed in too far. And assume right in this area, you can see my arrow moving right there. That is the area that we're looking at. It will go north of Scotland, it appears, and north of Clinton, but don't let your guard down in either of those areas. Todd?
Yeah, no new information except the radar is just very messy right now when you look at the presentation. And as you said, there may be something going on there with that getting those showers kind of disturbing the flow into this, which we hope is happening. But we have to go ahead and assume this is on the ground. What I'm getting here from the National Weather Service is that they're saying that the fire chief there called report of a tornado. Doesn't look like much on radar, but following live storm chaser video, it's had consistent low-level rotation, wall clouds, possible funnel. The fire chief reported the tornado, though not exactly where exactly, but it's in this general